taxpayers may have reached their limits. Yes?
Yes, they may be getting there, Trish. This is Hammond Stadium, the spring home of the Minnesota Twins. Like most of the parks in this state, it's a bit smaller than the regular season version, but other than that, it's as nice as you can find anywhere. The question is, how many more of these can you build? I mean, once teams were associated with their towns, but over the last 20 years, the Grapefruit League map has been redrawn over and over again as teams rush to take advantage of the multi-billion-dollar subsidies being thrown at them by towns that wanted Major League Baseball. They say that the teams bring tourists and the tourists bring cash, but economists say that's not necessarily the best way to build your economy.
We built that for them, and they left Fort Lauderdale. So what you ought to be able to do is see that Fort Lauderdale shrinks and Tampa grows as a result of the teams moving. A comparison would show just the opposite, that Fort Lauderdale, Broward County grew faster than Hillsborough County after the Yankees left Broward County and moved here.
Well, now, there are signs that communities are beginning to realize that could happen to them. Here in Fort Myers, they turned down a third team because they didn't want to pay for the additional upgrades to the stadium that they have. And in Winter Haven, they said no thanks to getting another team when the Red Sox and Indians left. Instead, they grew their economy another way. But the teams moved on. And they're making more money by renting out their facilities to amateur teams.
That's a good kept secret, and one we don't like out there too much, but for us it has proven very, very profitable. We've done very, very well with that. Sporting events are a moneymaker. We can measure the economic impact. We can measure the heads and beds. We can see how the cash registers ring. And for Polk County, a community of 600,000 people, and some of our smaller municipalities, they see the impact, they appreciate the impact. Don't talk about it too much, Mark.
Now, in Sarasota, when they rebuilt the stadium for the Orioles, the team kicked in about a third of the cost. Chief Operating Officer John Angelo says that's because they wanted a lot and they thought it was only fair, but he told us he doesn't think it's going to be a trend.
Florida spring training and Arizona spring training work a lot like Camden Yards because people will come for spring training. People will make their vacations around it. They'll make their retirement decisions to some extent around it. So I think municipalities and elected people and others are going to always be saying, well, what's the ROI? If there's enough economic impact, if there's enough economic impact through tourism incubation, then maybe this is the right investment. And if it's there, people will make those calls. I think it's very different here. This has been very strong for a long time. Arizona does well as well. So I think that there's a good chance it'll continue.
Well, we should find out relatively soon. Not only are several Grapefruit League teams talking about moving once again, but there's also talk some of the teams they lost to Arizona may want to come back.